The home is meant to be a sanctuary, a place of safety and love. And a parent. A parent is meant to be a protector. But what happens when that sacred trust is shattered? When the very people sworn to protect become the perpetrators? Tonight, we explore 6 chilling stories of ultimate betrayal. The cases of Timothy Jones Jr., Lori Vallow Daybell, Chad Daybell, Joaquin Shadow Rams Sr., Joshua Earl Patrick Phillips, and John and Heather DeBlaise. These are the stories of children lost not to strangers, but to the people they trusted most. On September 3, 2014, in a quiet community in Lexington, South Carolina, a father's darkness was unleashed. Timothy Jones Jr., a man who seemed to have it all, killed his 5 children: Mara, Elias, Natan, Gabriel, and Abigail. The details are monstrous. After a fit of rage, he murdered them one by one. For 9 long days, he drove across state lines with their bodies in the back of his car, attempting to dispose of them. It was a simple traffic stop that finally ended his frantic flight, and his confession revealed a truth more horrific than anyone could have imagined. Jones was a man of contrasts, a devout Christian with a history of paranoia and rage. His ex-wife, Amber, had tried to warn the courts, but her pleas for a protective order were denied. Jones was ultimately found guilty of 5 counts of murder, a grim end to a story that began with a father's ultimate betrayal. For some, faith becomes a weapon. Lori Vallow Daybell, a woman with a bright smile, and her husband, Chad Daybell, a self-proclaimed prophet, twisted their beliefs into a justification for murder. They were the doomsday mom and the prophet of death, claiming to receive visions about the end of the world. In their twisted worldview, some people, even children, could be labeled as zombies, people whose bodies were taken over by dark spirits. In September 2019, Lori's 2 children, 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old JJ Vallow, vanished. While a nationwide search ensued, Lori and Chad were living carefree in Hawaii. It was 9 months later, on Chad's Idaho property, that police unearthed the heartbreaking truth. The remains of Tylee and JJ were found buried there. Tylee's body had been dismembered and burned. JJ was found wrapped in plastic and duct tape. In May 2023, Lori Vallow Daybell was found guilty of her children's murders, sentenced to life in prison. Chad Daybell's trial is set to follow, revealing a chilling story of how blind faith in the wrong person can lead to the darkest of crimes. The motive behind murder is often rooted in rage, jealousy, or fanaticism. But for Joaquin Shadow Rams Sr., the motive was cold, calculated, and simple: money. Rams, a man with many names, had a sinister pattern. In 2003, his ex-girlfriend was found shot dead. Rams was a prime suspect after trying to collect a large sum from her life insurance. 5 years later, his own mother's death was ruled a suicide. But again, suspicion followed him when he received a significant payout from her life insurance. The most tragic case, however, was that of his infant son, Prince McLeod Rams. From the moment Prince was born, Rams took out over $500,000 in life insurance policies. Authorities later revealed that he had planned his son's murder from just 2 months old. Prince died in October 2012, and Rams was eventually convicted of capital murder, with prosecutors proving he had both the motive and the opportunity. His sentence was life in prison without parole, a grim end for a man who saw his family not as loved ones, but as a path to a payout. Sometimes, the most horrifying secrets are hidden in plain sight. In 1998, in a suburban neighborhood in Jacksonville, Florida, 8-year-old Madeline Ray Clifton vanished. A massive search began, and among the hundreds of volunteers and worried neighbors was 14-year-old Joshua Phillips. He was a friend, a boy who lived directly across the street. He even helped distribute missing flyers, feigning concern for the little girl. But 7 days later, Joshua's own mother, suspicious of a foul odor coming from his room, made a chilling discovery. Hidden inside the base of her son's waterbed was the body of Madeline Clifton. Joshua confessed to accidentally hitting her with a baseball and, terrified of his father's reaction, killed her to silence her cries. The boy next door, who had pretended to search for his missing friend, was ultimately sentenced to life in prison for the horrific crime he had committed and hidden in plain sight. Some crimes defy comprehension. The brutality endured by 4-year-old Natalie and her 3-year-old brother, Chase, at the hands of their own father, John Joseph DeBlaze, and stepmother, Heather Lyville Keaton, is a testament to that. In Mobile, Alabama, between March and June 2010, the children were systematically tortured and poisoned. Natalie was suffocated in a suitcase, her food laced with poison. Chase was bound and left to stand in a corner all night until he died. For months, the couple administered antifreeze to the children. Their remains were hidden in different states until Heather finally came forward, fearing for another infant's safety. John DeBlaze and Heather Lyville Keaton were both convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death. The case remains a chilling reminder of the evil that can exist behind closed doors and the horrifying abuse that can go unseen. These 6 stories, each a tragedy in its own right, share a common thread: the unimaginable betrayal of a child by a parent. While the details of each case are unique, the question remains the same. What drives a person to commit such monstrous acts? Whether it's mental illness, religious fanaticism, greed, or fear, the result is the same: a shattering of trust, a loss of innocence, and a legacy of heartbreak that will forever haunt the memories of those left behind. Thank you for watching. What are your thoughts on these tragic cases? Let us know in the comments below.